Hello, hello, boys and girls. Once again, this is Story Time with Mrs. D, and we are in February, the month of Black History Month. And like I told you, I will be celebrating stories of Black history or stories of famous blacks or just stories of Black artists or Black authors or just stories of little black children and so on. So I hope that you enjoy these stories and that they make you want to read more and more. So the story tonight is called Amazing Grace, and the author is Mary Hoffman and also Caroline Bench. And it's called Amazing Grace, and there's the front cover in case you wanted to look for this book to have in your collection. Amazing Grace. All right, boys and girls. So let's get started on Amazing Grace. Actually, Caroline Bench is actually the illustrator of this book. Okay, so here we go. Grace was a girl who loved stories. She didn't mind if they were read to her or told to her or made up in her own head. She didn't care if they were in books or movies or out of Nana's long memory. Grace just loved stories. After she had heard them, and sometimes while they were still going on, Grace would act them out, and she always gave herself the most exciting part. Grace went into battle as Joan of Arc and wove a wicked web of Anansi the spider. She hid inside the wooden horse as the gates of Troy. She, she went exploring for lost kingdoms. She sailed the seven seas with a peg leg and a parrot. She was Hiawatha sitting by the shining big sea water and Mowgli in the backyard jungle. Grace was very exciting. Most of all, Grace loved to act out adventure stories and fairy tales. When there was no one else around, Grace played all the parts herself. She set out to seek her fortune with no companion but her trusty cat and found a city with streets paved in gold. Or she was Aladdin rubbing his magic lamp to make the genie appear. Sometimes she would get Ma and Nana to join in when they weren't too busy. Then she was Dr. Grace and their lives were in her hands. One day, Grace's teacher said they would do the play Peter Pan. Grace knew who she wanted to be. When she raised her hand, Ray said, "You can't be Peter, that's a boy's name." But Grace kept her hand up. "You can't be Peter Pan," whispered Natalie. "He isn't black." But Grace kept her hand up. "All right," said the teacher. "Lots of you want to be Peter Pan, so we'll have auditions next week to choose parts." She gave them words to learn. When Grace got home, she seemed sad. "What's the matter?" asked Ma. "Ray said I can't be Peter Pan because I'm a girl." "That just shows what Ray knows," said Ma. "A girl can be Peter Pan if she wants to." Grace cheered up. Then later she remembered something else. "Natalie says I can't be Peter Pan because I'm black," she said. Ma looked angry. But before she could speak, Nana said, It seems that Natalie is another one who doesn't know nothing. You can be anything you want, Grace, if you put your mind to it. On Saturday, Nana told Grace they were going out. In the afternoon, they caught the bus and train into town. Nana took Grace to a grand theater. The sign outside read, Rosalie Wilkins in Romeo and Juliet in sparkling lights. Are we going to the ballet, Nana? Asked Grace. We are, honey, but first I want you to look at this picture. Grace looked up and saw a beautiful young ballerina in a tutu. Above the dancer it said, Stunning New Juliet. That one is little Rosalie from back home in Trinidad, said Nana. Her granny and me grew up together on the island. She's always asking me, do I want tickets to see her Rosalie dance? So this time I said yes. After the ballet, Grace played the part of Juliet, dancing around her room in her imaginary tutu. I can be anything I want, she thought. On Monday, the class met for auditions to choose who was best for each part. When it was Grace's turn to be Peter, she knew exactly what to do and all the words to say. She had been Peter Pan all weekend. She took a deep breath and imagined herself flying. When it was time to vote, the class chose Ray to be Captain Hook and Natalie to be Wendy. There was no doubt who would be Peter Pan. Everyone voted for Grace. You were fantastic, whispered Natalie. The play was a big success. Grace was an amazing Peter Pan. After it was all over, she said, I feel as if I could fly all the way home. You probably could, said Ma. Yes, said Nana. If Grace put her mind to it, she could do anything she wanted. The end. Boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that story about Amazing Grace wanting to be the first Black Peter Pan in this story. And boys and girls, I want you to remember that you too can be anything that you want to be. It doesn't matter what color you are. And don't let anyone tell you that you can't just because of your skin color. Remember, keep on reading those stories and enjoying reading and keeping your knowledge strong, because no matter what, no one can take away what you have up here. Until next time with Story Time with Mrs. D, I will see you then. Bye-bye now.